This meeting of the City of Socorro Board of Adjustments is set to begin. First and foremost, the City of Socorro would like to thank everyone and ask for your patience during this difficult time we have been presented with. Everyone please remember to silence any electronics to avoid sound interruption. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. In accordance with Section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code, and by the order of the Office of the Governor issued March 16, 2020, the Board of Adjustments for the City of Socorro will broadcast the meeting scheduled today, July 23, 2020, at 6 p.m. from City Hall Chambers located at 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, via telephone conference and live stream in order to advance the public health goal and practice social distancing to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The public that signed up and any presenters will be called upon by the presiding officer during the meeting to speak during the public comment or their agenda item during the meeting following Government Code 551.042. La Junta de Ajustes de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Primeramente queremos darles las gracias y pedimos su paciencia durante estos momentos críticos que enfrentamos. Favor de poner en silencio todo equipo electrónico para evitar interrupción de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. A quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada será desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. De acuerdo con sección 418.016 del Código del Gobierno de Texas y por orden de la Oficina del Gobernador anunciado el 16 de marzo de 2020, la Junta de Ajustes de la Ciudad de Socorro transmitirá su reunión hoy jueves 23 de julio de 2020 a las 6 p.m. desde la Sala del Concilio localizada en 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, por medio de teléfono y será transmitida en vivo para tomar medidas preventivas para prevenir la propagación de la enfermedad del virus corona a los demás y por la seguridad del público. El público y los presentadores serán anunciados por el oficial conduciendo la reunión para poder hablar durante la sección de comentario público o después de la discusión del artículo de la agenda por cual se apuntaron siguiendo las reglas del gobierno 551.042.
Item number 1, call to order.
Mr. Trujillo, can you call the meeting to order? Where's my phone?
Why do you need the phone for?
I need the time.
Look at the time there.
Yes,
It's
6.
6:10.
It's 6:10. This meeting is now called, to order.
Item number 2, establishment of quorum. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
No, Rudy Cruz was present. I don't know what's going on here.
Rudy Cruz,
He got disconnected or something.
Here, she muted me. Hello.
okay, Rudy Cruz is here. Ben Arras,
Here.
Jorge Dominguez, can you please unmute yourself?
Here.
Thank you. Jesus Chaides,
Present. Here.
David Oropesa,
Here.
Robert Renteria,
Here.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Present.
We have quorum with 7 commissioners present. Item number 3, excuse absent commission members. Do we have a motion to excuse or not excuse?
There's nobody absent. We have a full quorum.
Okay, item number 4, reading of the Board of Adjustment statement.
Yes, the Board of Adjustments of the City of Socorro is now in session.
This board is established under Article 211.008 of the Local Government Code to permit the correction of inequalities in the application of the zoning ordinance according to specific legal rules. Your application will decide only after you have had the chance to present evidence before the board for its consideration. Other parties interested in your case may also be heard at this time. No consultation among board members has been held in advance regarding your case. This board does not act in an arbitrary manner. You may feel that this application of the zoning ordinance to your situation will result in hardship to you, but this does not necessarily mean that this board has the power to grant you relief unless the facts of your case are such that the board must act on them. You may be sure full consideration will be given your case, and following this hearing, you will promptly notify the board's decision.
Item number 5, swearing of all persons giving testimony.
Number one, because we can't see the people who are on the phone that are gonna have to swear that they're saying the truth. How do we approach this? How do we do this?
Do we have any callers on the line that are witnesses?
Yes, yes, we have all of the applicants on the line on the phone.
Okay. I think what we can do is, I think the chair of the board needs to ask them still at home to raise their hand, swear that they'll tell the truth. They also need to, when they testify, give us their full name, and then, make sure that they can hear us. And I think that's sufficient. We just need to note that for the record that who called in, and that they were sworn in. So we'll have to make it. I guess if the chairperson wants to go ahead and swear them in, does he have some kind of statement to read, or?
At this time, I am the chairperson, Eugene Trujillo. I'm gonna ask the persons that have items to be given to the board to stand up on their behalf and raise their right hand. I will be giving what needs to be said to them. Do you solemnly swear to say the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I hope that everyone heard what I said, and I hope that everyone will be honestly saying what they have to say on behalf of their request.
Excuse me, Mr. Trujillo. We have to wait until the people swearing in are we unpause them from the line, and then we can swear them in.
Can you speak a little louder, ma'am? Because I am where I live in the boondocks, and we don't have a really true line here, and I'm having a little problem here hearing what you're saying.
Yes. We have to wait until we unpause or unmute the people on the line that are being sworn in so that we can swear them in individually.
That's fine.
Mr. Torres, can you go ahead and identify yourself again?
Bueno,
Sí. ¿Se puede identificar, por favor?
mi nombre es Jorge Torres.
Okay, Mr. Trujillo, go ahead.
Do you want me to read the statement again?
Yes, please. Mr. Torres is ready now.
All right, Mr. Torres, I am the chairperson, and I need to ask, do you solemnly swear to say the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help you God?
Sí, lo juro.
Thank you.
Our next applicant, Olivia Ramirez, could you please identify yourself?
Soy Olivia Ramírez.
Okay. Mr. Trujillo, you could go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear to say the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth on your request, so help you God?
Lo juro.
Thank you.
Jessica Garza, could you please identify yourself?
This is Jessica Garza.
Okay, Mr. Trujillo.
Okay, let me ask you a question here. Am I gonna be, have to say everything that I'm saying to each and every one? Are all of them hearing me what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If they are, just say, I do. Because it appears that we're
I
wasting
do.
more time than we have to. And we gotta get all these items out.
Yes, sir. They all have to be done individually.
Okay, Miss Garza, do you swear to say the truth and nothing but the whole truth? So help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
And lastly, Raul Bozal, could you please identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Raúl Dosal.
Go
Yes,
ahead,
Mr.
Mr.
Dosal, do you swear to say the truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the approval of the meeting minutes for September 26, 2019. Do I have a
Mr.
motion?
Trujillo, we brought the meeting minutes from September the 26th. That was the last time that the Board of Adjustments had a meeting. There hasn't been a meeting. That's the reason why you're just seeing this on the agenda today.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
I second that motion.
Can I ask who made a motion to approve?
Robert Renteria?
And who second?
Eugene Trujillo.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7. Oh. Okay. Rudy Cruz? I'm going to take a vote. Rudy Cruz?
Mr. Cruz, you're still muted. You're taking the vote for the approval of the meeting minutes from September 26th. You can unmute yourself by pressing the space bar on your keyboard.
I believe he froze. So Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras?
Aye.
George Dominguez?
Here.
Jesus Chaides?
Aye.
David Oropesa?
Aye.
Robert Renteria?
Here.
And Eugene Trujillo.
Okay, did Rudy come about on his, nay or no?
He was not able to unfreeze, so he
I
did
believe,
not cast.
he's being muted. For some apparent reason, I don't know why.
Mr. Rudy Cruz is no longer in the meeting.
So we no longer have a quorum.
We do. We have
We still,
six
we still have six
commissioners.
members. Yes, we do.
Rudy Cruz.
Okay, Mr. Cruz has just called in.
Well, I've been in the meeting, but you muted me and you can't hear me when I'm talking.
Okay.
I've
How
been in
do
the
you
meeting
vote
from the
on item
beginning.
number? How do you vote on item number 6?
Well, no, you erased me. I motioned on the item, and you can't hear me because you muted me before the meeting started.
We apologize, sir.
Mr. Cruz, do you vote to approve item number 6?
Mr. Cruz has left the call again.
The
However,
vote
we
was to
still,
approve the minutes, Rudy.
Mr. Body, I think we can move on. Can we, I think this item, this motion passed since 5 commissioners say that yes. Can we move on to the next item?
Yeah, if we have the number of votes to pass it, then pass it, and we move on to the next item.
okay. This motion is carried. Item number 7. Consider and take action on the approval of the 2020 meetings calendar.
I make a motion to approve that, calendar, but let me ask Joe. Joe, it appears that we're gonna take about 20 minutes to approve all this. Can we do this at another meeting?
Yes, it's up to you. If you want to postpone the item and we can go through it on a later meeting, that's fine.
Yes, I'd like to make that motion because we need to get these items out of the way.
Second.
And I don't know if you want to do the same thing with item number 8. You can do that one on another meeting.
Yes, we can do that at another meeting as well, Joe.
This is Marwan, so if you guys want to postpone it, somebody just needs to make a motion to postpone items 7 and 8 to the next meeting, and then somebody second it, and then you can take a vote on it.
I second that motion, Robert Renteria.
Okay. I'm going to take a vote to have a motion to postpone made by Eugene Trujillo, second by Robert Renteria. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
Aye.
Jorge Dominguez,
Yes.
Jesus Chaides,
Aye.
David Oropesa,
Aye.
Robert Renteria,
Aye.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Aye.
Item number 8, consider and take action on the election of officers for the Board of Adjustments. Can I have a motion to postpone as well?
No, Alicia, we postponed this item. We need to jump to item number 9.
Okay. Item number 9, consider and take action on the variance request to the Mooney Code Section 46-415 3C, related setback required from a major arterial, and Section 46-238 2D, related setback required from a residential zone for Lot 9 Block 1, Mary Lou Park, located at 10835 North Loop Drive.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Joe Terrazas, Planning and Zoning Department. This item was presented to you in a previous meeting. It was tabled in August 22nd, 2019. But because there's new commissioners, I'm gonna have to go over the report real quick. What they're asking for, I'm gonna share my screen so you can see the location of the property. If you remember, this property is right off of North Loop, close to the intersection of Horizon. They were asking for a variance to the required setbacks because they want to build a gym in lot 9. However, there's a provision in the ordinance that requires a 60-foot setback. They want to get closer than 60 feet. That's the reason they're asking for the variance. The last time when this was discussed, the applicant mentioned that he also owns the property next to it. He owns lot 9 and lot 10. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to build a gym that was going to expand over the 2 lots. They're also asking for a variance to the setbacks in the back, in the rear, get closer to the residential zone. The setbacks that are required are 25 feet. We want to get closer than that. In the front, they're asking for a 30-foot variance. And in the rear, they're asking for 20 feet. This item was tabled and the applicant was given the opportunity to come back with an alternative design. They brought in a sign, which I'm going to put on the screen here in just a second. This is what they are. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just find it here real quick. This is the alternative design that was brought in to us. Can you see it there on the screen? So they're asking to get close as 30 feet from North Loop, 20 feet from the back, and this is how they want to build the proposed building with a parking space covering the 2 properties. Their ponding area would be on the back and a portion of the side. And the reason for this recommendation, the Planning and Zoning Department was recommending to deny because this petition is not for the public interest. Literal enforcement of the ordinance does not result in unnecessary hardship because the building is not built. And the third reason is because the spirit of the code is not met, it's not observed. Approval of this would be seen as preferential treatment. City Council is aware that there is a problem with some of the ordinances, and staff was advised to go over some of the ordinances that are creating problems like this for business owners or property owners who are trying to build something closer to arterial roads and they can't. So I don't know if you have any other questions for this particular request.
So, Joe, let me ask you, the planning and zoning is asking for a denial.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. At this time, I'm gonna make a motion also to deny their request. Because if it's not gonna work with our codes and regulations, we're not gonna gamble with this one. So I'm making a motion to deny at this time.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion. Jorge Dominguez.
Okay, and now we're going to take a vote. Mr. Rudy Cruz has joined the meeting. Mr. Rudy Cruz, can you please unmute yourself? You have to press the mic button.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Were you able to... We have a motion for item number 9 to deny, made by Eugene Trujillo, and we have a second by George Dominguez. I'm going to take a vote. Rudy Cruz,
Deny.
Ben Arras,
Mr. Abbas, you're still muted.
Nay.
Jorge Dominguez.
Deny.
I'm sorry, could you repeat yourself?
Deny.
Deny. Jesus Chaides,
Yeah, deny.
David Oropesa,
Deny.
Robert Renteria,
Deny.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Also denied.
Okay, motion carried. Item number 10, consider and take action on the proposed variance to Muni Code Chapter 46-238 2D related to the rear required setback from 25 feet to 15.7 feet to allow an existing structure to remain as built on Lot 7, Block 3, Arjo Estates, located at 217 Wetumpka Lane.
On this one, this application, this is a new application that we received for a variance. I'm also gonna share my screen again to show you the property. This property is located at 217 Wetumpka. This is about 1,000 feet east of Alameda. This property has an area of 11,145 square feet. That's about 1/4 of an acre. It's owned by Azucena and Jorge Torres. According to the El Paso Central Appraisal District records, there were improvements on the land. The building was erected in 1982. The building that was built in 1982 is the structure that you see on with the brown roof. And then there's another one on the side. This used to be a detached garage. The main area and the garage were built on the same year. The property, according to the Paso Central Appraisal, was bought or purchased by Mr. Torres in 2019. Since the original improvements, and I'm talking about the detached garage and the house, everything that you see with the brown roof, were built before the adoption of the building codes. These structures were considered grandfathered or legal non-conforming structures. When Mr. Torres purchased the property, he enclosed this area that you see in gray. I don't know if you can see it there on the screen right here. So they added additional living space and they connected the detached garage with the house and it all became one structure. What happens there is that the detached garage is no longer grandfathered and is now required to comply with the setbacks. So in the back, what you see here from the back of the house and the property line, they don't meet the required setbacks. We went to the property and we measured it. They have about 15 feet, 7 inches away from the property line. they're supposed to have at least 25 feet. So an alternative here is what the options that you have is either to deny. If you do that, because it doesn't meet the spirit of the ordinance, you would have to remove the additional square feet, or you can grant the variance and leave the structure as it is. I don't know if you have any other questions. We also have pictures. Let me see if I can put the pictures on the screen.
Mr. Terrazas, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This is Robert Renteria. Were
Yes.
the two structures built at the same time, or you mentioned that it was two different dates for both structures?
They were built on the same year. We don't know if they were built on the same time, but they were built on the same year for sure, according to the El Paso Central Appraisal records. And you can see where you see the sliding door right here.
Uh-huh.
This is where they added additional living area.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How the neighbors? How do they feel about the proximity of the structure?
We haven't received any complaints from any of the neighbors. We haven't heard from anybody. In fact, when we were there on the site, we did notice another code violation with a neighbor on the property behind. He's going all the way to the property line. He's even worse. So no, we haven't had any complaints from any of the neighbors.
Excuse
I don't know
me,
if you have
gentlemen.
any other questions?
Can I remind you that Jorge Torres, the applicant for this item, is on the line, and if you wanted to, you could ask him questions.
Yes, Mr. Torres, he's the owner of the property. He's on the phone. He speaks Spanish. No sé si tengan preguntas para el señor Torres. Señor Torres, o si quiere decir algo para este caso que está presentando al board.
No, pues nada más decir que pues yo cuando compré la propiedad pues ya está el garage, ¿verdad? Lo que usted informó, y pues yo no sabía de la ley, ¿verdad? Y pues pensé que al estar el garage no pensé en los pies, ¿verdad? Que había que haber en la barda. Entonces hice la pared ahí, ¿verdad? Pero lo hice sin saber, yo pensando que estaba en los límites por el garage, ¿verdad? Y como es bastante el terreno que hay todavía, bueno, son 12 pies, algo así, o 15 de la barda, no se me hace que esté tan pegado a la barda, y como por ejemplo mi vecino todavía está más pegado a mí, dije no creo que haya problema, ¿eh? Y luego yo quiero pues vender la propiedad ahorita. Yo cuando lo construí pues nunca pensé en vender, ¿verdad? Pues era una propiedad que yo quería para mí, pero pues desgraciadamente ahorita tengo una enfermedad de cáncer, ¿verdad? Y entonces pues ahorita tengo una cuenta muy grande en el hospital y pues no puedo seguir pagando y me quieren suspender ya el tratamiento, ¿ah? Entonces pues quisiera que me ayudaran en eso de poder, no puedo vender por esa falta de ese permiso, ¿ah? Entonces sí, pues me gustaría que lo contemplaran también eso.
Okay, Joe, this is Trujillo. You mentioned that the line is right on the dot of his property.
No. So let me share the screen here again real quick. From I don't know if you can see the building right here where I have the mouse.
Yeah.
From here to the back of the property line, the yellow line right here, he has 15 feet, 7 inches. So there's 15 feet in the back when he's supposed to have 25 feet. On the side, he does have 5.5 feet.
Okay, we don't want to bring any hardships to any of the citizens of this city, but they do have to build in accordance to the codes and regulations. Now, at this time, I'm gonna make a motion to, uh, for the owner of this property to at least get 3 signatures from the surrounding neighborhood. They are in agreement on what he's doing. So I'm gonna table this item at this time. I'm gonna make this motion. We, we don't wanna give any hardships to people that had already built. And I understand what the gentleman is saying, but if he can get 3 signatures to you, Joe, within a period of time, at least a month, 3 signatures from the neighborhood and the surrounding area, then we can work with him.
Okay.
If not, if the neighborhood is not aware or of what this is happening, and if he cannot bring these signatures, maybe you have to deny. But if he can bring those 3 signatures within a period of 2 weeks or a month, then maybe we can accept his request. I'm gonna make this motion. I don't know how the rest of the members feel on this one.
Mr. Trujillo, if you're gonna make a motion and you're asking for signatures, do you want to establish a time frame to see how much time we're gonna give him?
We can give him a month. Or maybe we can establish this by the next meeting.
So you want to hear this case back again?
Yes. I want to hear from the neighborhood if they're okay with what this gentleman did.
Okay. Do we have a second for this motion?
I second the motion. George Dominguez.
Okay, I'm going to take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras?
Oppose the motion.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I oppose the motion.
Okay. Jorge Dominguez?
I motion.
Jesus Chaides?
What I'm thinking is, there's has to, the neighbor in the back, he's even closer to his land. I don't see it. I don't see why would it be a problem to the neighbors around him. They haven't brought it and said anything. So I oppose the motion.
David Oropesa? Robert Renteria?
I oppose the motion to postpone.
Eugene Trujillo?
I was the one that made the motion, so yes.
Okay.
So the motion failed.
Motion failed. Would you like to make a second motion? Another motion?
I motion to approve the issue, just because it will cause a hardship and there's no flooding issues around there. He's still far away enough where there is a distance between the property line and the other property line. I just don't feel that if he was to actually get the motion denied, it would provide a real harsh financial hardship on him, especially because it's already been built. So I move to approve the motion.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, I'm going to take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
Approve.
Jorge Dominguez,
Approve.
Jesus Chaides,
Approve.
David Oropesa,
Aye.
Robert Renteria,
Denied.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Denied.
Marwan, how do we approach? I don't think this motion passed again. Marwan? We have four made a motion to approve and two to deny. Hello, Marwan?
Can you clarify this one, Joe? I'm having a problem here understanding.
So four of the commissioners want to approve the variance that they're asking, but two commissioners don't want to approve it. We're missing one more. I think Mr. Cruz got disconnected or something. So we have four saying, I think we're losing more commissioners now. And then I don't know if the attorney can hear us.
Sorry, Jeff, my connection had just cut out. It cut out, I think, when I was talking. Did you say anything?
We were asking if this motion passed because four commissioners say yes to approve the variance and two say no.
We had originally had 7 commissioners on the call, correct?
Yes, correct. But one of them got disconnected or something happened. He's no longer here. We only have 6.
So you just need a majority then of the ones that are present now to pass it.
Okay, so we don't have the one who left, right?
Yeah, so if we have 6 now in the middle of the meeting, then 4 need to approve. So actually it does approve them, yeah.
Okay, so motion passed.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
I believe
Yeah,
that the
you just
motion,
you just need
would
4 to
pass.
start the meeting.
All the commissions voted yes or no, but it has to be the whole board voting on that account. Otherwise, it cannot be approved.
It doesn't have to be unanimous, which means not you know, it doesn't have to be, let's say, 6 or 7 yeses total. So when you start the meeting, you need a quorum to start the meeting, which I believe was 7, right? 7 out of 10? Joe?
Yes, that's correct.
So, yeah, you need a quorum to start. If somebody leaves during the middle of a meeting, even if, let's say we did this in person, and somebody walks out, as long as you had a quorum to start the meeting can still continue, you can still vote on the item. But you just,
Joe, can you check the bylaws? I think it does require 6 votes.
No, it requires 6 votes to take action on an item, but it does say that the majority has to approve 25%.
Are you looking at the bylaws?
No.
what is the do you have the bylaws over you, Joe?
I got them right here. Let me just get them real quick.
As I recall, it has to be the majority on the vote. And if it's not, then you can take consideration of 4 people voting yes and the other 2 no.
Yeah, I think it's the majority that is present, but let me see if I can find the answer really quickly too again. Double check.
Even if Mr. Cruz would have voted no, you still would have had a majority of 43, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's actually right.
So the motion should carry because majority already voted yes.
That's correct. Yeah, you're right on that one. You still have the right number of yes votes to vote yes. So at least on this item. On the other ones, we'll see what happens.
Marwan, can you see the screen there?
Yes.
It says,
okay.
Those are the bylaws. It says the concurrent vote of 6 members shall be necessary to reverse any order, requirement, or decision.
Let me take a look at this. Which part are you reading, Jeff?
Article 5 on the bylaws.
Okay, 5A. Let's see. One mode. Okay. The concurring vote of 600. Concurring vote of 6 members shall be necessary to reverse any order, decision, or determination of the official. Yeah, that's just to reverse a rule. I don't know if that applies just to pass.
Joe, me as a third person, I'm gonna ask you, table the item at this time, because we're losing too much time on this one.
Yeah, Joe, I think that's a good idea. We can table this until the next meeting, and we'll have an answer for you guys. We'll double check on it.
Okay, do we need to take everybody's vote again? Or
There's another item. The last item is the same issue. So there's going to be another item coming up that's going to be the same issue as well that we're going to have to table.
No, the last one is different.
Well, the last one says that there's a 6-inch difference.
We're not there yet. Let us get there, and then we'll make the decision on that one. We're working on this item at this time, and me as a third person, I'm asking Joe to table the item till the next meeting, till we get an answer on this one.
Ron, do we need to take their votes again? Table it?
I suggest that before we do anything, this man is looking for help. He is going through a hard time. I suggest we just go with Eugene's original motion. That's the way he's gonna get majority voted. If it is gonna take 1 month if we're gonna table this, and it is gonna take 1 month, I think we should just get those 3 signatures so we can get him this gentleman out of this predicament, and we could go on with this.
I'll agree to that.
Okay, so we have Eugene Trujillo's original motion to table for a month until we get 3 signatures. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, now we're going to take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras.
I approve.
Jorge Dominguez.
Approve.
Jesus Chaides.
Yeah, approve. That's what it takes, yes.
David Oropesa.
Aye.
Robert Renteria.
Aye.
Could you repeat that?
Aye. I approve.
And Eugene Trujillo.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 11. Consider and take action on the variance request to Muni Code Section 46-414, 6E2, related to the number of inoperable vehicles allowed on Tract 4B, Block 14, Socorro Grant located at 116 Buford Road. Let
On
me
this
remind you,
application, they're asking for a variance to the amount of inoperable vehicles that are allowed in the property. They have a mechanic shop at 116 Buford. The ordinance only allows 5 vehicles that are in a state of repair. Problem is that they want to keep more than 5. They want to accumulate between 15 to 20 vehicles. I'm going to show you the property. It's right in front of Escondrias Elementary School at the intersection of Horizon and Buford.
Mr. Terrazas, this is Robert Renteria. How many vehicles do they have out there right now?
That's what I don't know. I know that they've had between 40, 50, 60 vehicles. There's been many. We were there earlier and we took some pictures of some of the vehicles that we had on the property. So let me put it on the screen real quick so you can look at them. I know that they have a lot of vehicles. We just couldn't count them.
let me remind you that we do have the applicant on the line if you have any questions for her.
Yes, Mrs. Ramirez. She is the owner of the property. Olivia Ramirez is the owner. This property is approximately 2.88 acres, and you can see the cars. This is a view from the street. Standing in front of Escondrias Elementary School, this is where they have the mechanic shop. And this is where they have their vehicles.
Mr. Terrazas, this is Robert Renteria again. What was the reason that we couldn't count the cars?
We couldn't count the cars because there were too many. They're piled right next to each other. It's really hard to get in there. Let me put the aerial map again so you can see. This is after they cleaned up the property. The building that you see here on the screen was burned a couple of times. There was a fire. So we went in there, and this area that you see here that looks a little bit darker used to be burned. So when we went there, we started counting the cars. We counted about 40 vehicles, más o menos. But we couldn't, there were some that we couldn't even squeeze through because they were packed so close together. And
this is Robert Renteria again, Mr. Terrazas. I just counted about 60. So for that reason, I motion to deny.
This is after they cleaned the property. So the property's already cleaned here. These should have a lot more.
Yeah.
Joe, this is Trujillo.
Sir.
I agree with Mr. Renteria. These people, I believe that item was closed at one time about 3 years ago, and these people came back. Now, during the weekends, these people haul cars. I don't know where they're bringing in from, and I don't care, but they're bringing in vehicles and dumping them there at this site, and then the following week they start pulling them out. Now, this is going to be used from these people that are hauling cars from across the country into the city of Socorro. Now, I have heard complaints about the constituents of this city. Why is this city permitting car cemeteries around our town? I'm going to second Mr. Renteria's motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Robert Renteria to deny with a second by Eugene Trujillo. I will go ahead and take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras.
I agree. Deny.
Jorge Dominguez.
Deny.
Jesus Chaides.
Deny. Deny.
David Oropesa.
Deny.
Robert Renteria.
Deny.
And Eugene Trujillo.
Deny.
Motion carried. Item number 12, consider and take action on the variance request to Muni Code Section 46-141-1, prohibiting the relocation of a non-conforming structure, a mobile home, and Ordinance 76 Amendment 1A, Amendment 1, Section 1A, permitted uses to allow a 1999 double-wide mobile home to be installed on Tract 3B, 3C, 2B, and 2B1A, Block 10, Socorro Grant, located at 509 Bowman Road.
On this application, this property is located at 509 Bowman. I'm gonna show you the property. What they're trying to do here is, this is what they call 509 Bowman. However, we gotta be careful because this is not how the property is subdivided according to the Socorro Grant Survey. There's a mobile home in the front, one that you see on the screen here. This is a double-wide mobile home. It's already there. What they're trying to do is get this mobile home and then move it to the back. The problem is that by doing that, I'm gonna turn on a layer so you can see temporarily how the properties are subdivided. Can you see the white lines on the screen there? So those white line that you see here, this is considered one lot or one tract. And then this part over here where they're trying to move the mobile home is considered another tract. It's separate. Well, by doing that, they're moving a mobile home that is considered a legal non-conforming structure, which is not allowed. It's not allowed to move it and relocate it on a new lot. This will be a separate lot or tract. If you want to put a new mobile home on this tract, it would have to be a mobile home that is not older than 8 years old. That's the reason why you're asking for permission to move this mobile home and put it here in the back. The mobile home was built in 1999. It was remodeled. It's in very good shape. And then in place of this mobile home, they want to build a new house.
This mobile home is 21 years old at this time, right?
Yes. So by moving this mobile home and moving and placing it in the back, there's already conflict with one of the provisions that has writing on your backup.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dominguez, can you mute your mic, or there's some feedback in the background?
Also, Mrs. Garza, Jessica Garza, she's the owner of the property. She's also on the line. If you have any questions for her or you want to ask her anything, I believe she should have a mobile home in the back. If I recall correctly, there's a sewer connection here, and there's a water available to whatever they're going to put on the back. If you don't allow her to move her mobile home to the back, well, the mobile home can still remain in place as long as it's untouched. Remember, it's a legal non-conforming structure. As long as it's not moved, or if it's moved with permission from the Board of Adjustments.
Joe, this is a reality attorney, Mike, and interrupt you guys for a minute, since you were getting to that, the point of approving, or not approving. To the board, I double checked with the city code during this presentation, and also looking at the bylaws to clarify, yes, you actually need 6 votes to approve either reversing a decision by the city court administration or approving a variance. It requires 6 total votes. And so if you don't have 6, you do not approve. But I can confirm that. But just letting you guys know.
This is the chairperson. I knew that and I explained it to you. But at this time, we're working on another item. We don't need to go back to that other one we just went by. Joe, let me ask you on this item. What is the planning and zoning requiring on this one?
So the problem is that under chapter 46, 141, it does not allow the relocation of a legal non-conforming structure. Let me put the screen again. So because of the fact that this mobile home is a legal non-conforming structure, it can remain in place as long as it's untouched. And what they're proposing is they want to move it to the back. They want to move the mobile home to the back because they want to build a new house in the front, which will be inside this little triangle that you see here. The little triangle, this is track 3C, and the property in the back is a combination of several tracts of land, and they're recorded in this shape.
Is that whole,
I'm sorry?
The whole outline, the yellow outline, is that owned by the same property owner?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
It just needs to be surveyed one more time.
Well, they can survey, they can plat it, can leave it as it is. It's not required if they want to move the mobile home or if they want to build a house in this little triangle, because that's the way the property is already recorded in our record.
If they were to build a house inside of that triangle, they wouldn't be able to meet code, right? Because of all the easements?
Depending on when they bring in the plans, we would need to find out if there's if they comply with the setbacks. That's one of the things that we look for. And I believe Mrs. Garza did mention that there's an easement, a perpetual access easement recorded somewhere on the left of the property. Mrs. Garza, if you can hear me, can you confirm if that's correct?
Good evening. Yes, when we purchased the property and first moved onto the land, the city of Socorro requested us to do that, and that's why there's actually two driveways. Originally, the property just had one driveway.
Do you have any information on what you just said in black and white? That the city of Socorro told you to do that?
Well, I don't have anything in black and white that the city of Socorro told us to do that. That was a requirement when we got the mobile home placement permit. So when we bought the property, right there on the left-hand side, there was another mobile home there, and we originally had a mobile home in the back that we moved out when we purchased the double wide, and then the smaller one that was here originally moved out about 2 years ago. We moved it out about 2 years ago. So all of the water, sewer, gas connections are still in place for another dwelling. But no, I don't. It was just a requirement. They said you need to do this in order for us to give you the mobile home placement permit, and so we did it.
I'm somewhat confused here, Joe. That whole property that is squared down on the yellow, is that all that property belonging to them?
Yes, that's correct. That's all her property. He owns all this land, including this little triangle that you see here on the screen. So she owns everything. And that's the reason why she wants to move the mobile home to the back. The But the problem by moving this mobile home to the back, it will be on a separate track.
That white line, what is that saying?
This line, this is the way it was surveyed. This is part of the Socorro Grant survey. So what this little line is saying is that this is a separate track. So in other words, this is a lot, and this is another lot. That's just the way it's.
So they would have to go get a replat. They would have to go get a replat in order for them to combine both tracks.
If they wanted to, they could do that. Yes, they could do that.
And at that point in time, your easements would be from the edges of that yellow outline, right?
The only problem is that if they wanted to combine the tracks into one to make this line disappear, the whole area here that you see outlined in yellow would become one lot, and they wouldn't be allowed to have two buildings. So the way it is, you can move the property, you can move the mobile home to the back and build the home on the little triangle.
And at that time, they might run into issue where they may not get the plans approved because it's too close to the other property line, right?
To the setback, yes, that's correct.
Hey, Joe, let me ask you, what's going to happen to the mobile after they build their house?
I think that's a question for Mrs. Garza. She's planning on keeping the mobile home. Is that right, Mrs. Garza?
Yeah. So we've remodeled the house recently. The roof is only a couple years old. The kitchen, bathrooms have been remodeled, and so our plan was to keep it just as a second home on the property. Being used by my sons or my mother-in-law or my mother. And so what I explained to Joe is that part of our dilemma right now is the mobile home is too small for us. My mother, who is 80 years old, is currently living by herself, and we need to be able to build a bigger house to be able to bring him to the property. I have two adult sons who live here with us, as well as my mother-in-law, and so the mobile home would stay on the property as a second home for a while.
Does anybody have any more questions?
Well, by that being said, Joe, after they move the trailer to that piece of property, then they want to build the house, then they're going to have two structures on that same property that I believe that is not allowed.
Well, like I said, Mr. Trujillo, is as long as they don't replat or plat the land, legally they have two lots inside the perimeter that was outlined in yellow. Have two lots.
I have a question, comment. As it is right now, you can't move that building that is non-conforming, correct?
That's correct.
That's what we're voting on, if we want to approve that or not.
Yes, correct. To allow them to move it and allow them to keep the mobile home. And the other problem is that because on the property in the back, they would only be allowed to install a mobile home that is not older than 8 years. You would be installing a mobile home that's 21 years old.
Correct. And then they can build their home in the back. Right now, if we don't approve this, correct?
Correct.
So I motion to deny.
I'm going to second that motion because I don't quite understand what is happening here. That trailer is older than 8 years old, so, you know, something is happening here that is not being present to the board.
May I make a comment? May I make a comment?
Mr. Trujillo, do you have any more questions for Mrs. Garza? She's asking if she can speak. Did she say something?
No, I have no more questions too.
Okay, we have a motion made by Robert Renteria to deny, and a second by Eugene Trujillo. I will go ahead and take a vote. Rudy Cruz?
Can I make a comment for the vote?
No, ma'am. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras?
Move to approve.
Jorge Dominguez?
Mr. Dominguez, you're muted.
Deny.
Jesus Chaides?
Deny.
Motion to approve.
David Oropesa?
Deny.
Robert Renteria?
Deny.
And Eugene Trujillo.
Deny.
We do not have a majority vote, so the motion fails. Do we have another motion?
Juan, so if nobody makes another motion and this one failed, should we move on, or what happens next?
Yeah, if it's not tabled, and if it doesn't pass by 6, and I believe was that a motion to deny? That was a motion to deny, right?
Correct.
Failed. If no action is taken, then it'll be denied on its own after the hearing. So, unless 6 yeses come, it's denied.
So there's no more, anybody want to make a motion, or do we move on?
Move on.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I guess we can move on, Alicia.
Okay. Item number 13. Consider and take action on the variance request to Muni Code Section 46-262 2B related to the side setback required for Lot 11, Block 18, Villas del Valle, Unit 3, located at 806 T.S. Daniel Cadena.
On this one, this property is located on a new subdivision. So what happened here is there was a duplex that was built.
Can you change the video there, Joe?
What do you want?
You were talking about another item, but you still had it on the item that we just failed.
Can you see that one on the screen?
Not yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so on this one here, there was a duplex that was built in 2018. This property is, the lot is 7,405 square feet. That's about 0.17 acres. It's owned by Big Homes. What happened here is when this duplex was built, it was built 6 inches encroaching into the setbacks on the left side of the building. Well, you can see the, let me put a picture, because I went over there today to take some pictures of of the building. I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can see it. So this building is 6 inches closer to the setbacks in the front. But on the back, it's okay. So they do have the 5 feet on the back, but in the front, they're encroaching 6 inches. So this wall appears to be like in an angle. And when the surveyor went out there to mark the property corners, that's when we realized that it's encroaching about 6 inches into the setback. That's the reason why they're asking for a variance, because the structure was already built, and when it was under construction, there was no way for the inspectors to tell that the front was encroaching about 6 inches because there was no rock wall at the time. For that reason, it's unnecessary to make them go through the hardship of demolishing the building for 6 inches. On this particular case, the Planning and Zoning Department is recommending that this item is approved to allow the building to stay as it is.
The reason that it's encroaching the 6 inches is because of the rock wall?
No, well, yes, because of the rock wall, it made it stand out. Without the rock wall, nobody would have even realized that it was encroaching. And
so they don't necessarily have to tear down the home. They could tear down the rock wall.
Well, if they do that, they would have to go through the replatting. This property, this is already a recorded subdivision. It would be a substantial hardship to make them go through the replat just to correct the 6 inches.
I don't think it would be more of a substantial hardship for them as it would be for a homeowner like the one that we discussed earlier. They do have insurances in place in case this stuff was to happen. I know that because I am a contractor here in the city of Socorro. So we know that we have easements, and we know that we do have property lines that we have to abide by. And if we don't allow that, or if we don't take that into consideration, we're the ones that have to pay for it, not anybody else.
Yeah, so the difference between the property that you saw earlier and this one is that the one you saw earlier, it's encroaching 10 feet.
Well, encroaching 10 feet, encroaching 6 inches, encroaching 5 feet.
This one is only encroaching 6 inches, which is approximately this amount.
I understand that.
And only in the front, not the back.
And I understand that, but it is still a easement or a variance that they're asking for.
Yes.
So bending the rule for one person or bending the rule for the other person doesn't make sense if it's 6 inches, 10 inches. Bending the rules, right?
Okay.
I motion to do exactly what we asked the other property owner to do, is get signatures and have them come back.
And let me tell you something. I'm gonna put it on the screen one more time. If you wanna ask this property owner to get signatures, it's the same owner. All these properties are owned by big homes. So it's the same owner. That's the reason why we don't see a problem. The properties haven't been sold. So if you ask for 3 signatures, it's gonna be the same owner.
I motion on I think we're just going in circles with this one. I motion will pass.
Second the motion, Jorge Dominguez.
In following the rules, do we have to vote on Mr. Arras or wait for somebody to second that motion first?
There's already a motion on the table to approve, Mr. Renteria. I don't know unless whoever put the motion on the table wants to include Mr. Arras's recommendation.
We can't give Mr. Arras recommendation because he is the same owner.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve by David Oropesa and a second by Jorge Dominguez. I will go ahead and take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
Motion to deny.
Jorge Dominguez,
Approve.
Jesus Traides,
Since it's the same owner, property owner, I'm gonna say approve.
David Oropesa,
Approve.
Approve.
Robert Renteria,
Motion to approve?
and Eugene Trujillo.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve, but let me ask you one thing, Joe. How many times do the inspectors go there a week?
Well, it depends on the amount of inspections and the amount of construction that is ongoing. They go several times a day. But keep in mind that when the inspections are done on the foundation, there's no rock walls or anything to get a reference point to see where the property line ends.
But on that note, there is on the plans,
On the
showing
plans,
that there will be a rock, on the plans that the rock wall will be built.
yes, on the plans you can see the rock wall, but when you're on the field, it's different. You don't have anything telling you where the property limit is.
That's not true. You do have property corners, and the people that are pouring the foundation know exactly where to put it. If not, it would not be approved.
Mr. Aras, when the forms are installed, there's no string from property corner to property corner.
That's thoroughness of the contractor.
Okay, Joe, I also approved on this one, but tell Big Homes to not get this into a habit, because we have to go through the codes and regulations. We just don't want this one to go into a hardship.
Not only big homes, I think we should just take care of all the builders.
Gentlemen.
Everybody is building. I agree too with Mr. Aras to what he's talking about, but 6 inches is not something big. But there's other owners that it's not going to be big homes that there's going to stop column right there. I also believe that since they're builders and such a big builder like Big Homes, they should know exactly what they're doing. This is not their first, I guess, pad that they do, and especially being so close to a corner, we should be a little bit more careful when we go there to inspect 6 inches or whatsoever. We just happen to get lucky on this one that the same owner is big. But if it was different builders, then you will have a HOAS going around. But you should just be a little bit more careful with that. The 6 inches will create a problem later on.
Our original motion to approve did not go through, so we still need a motion. Do we have another motion?
A motion to table this to the next meeting.
Do we have a second?
I second that. Is anybody from Big Homes on the line, Mr. Terrazas?
There should be Enrique Ayala. I don't know if he called in.
No, there was no speaker.
See, this is the problem that I have, is that we're trying to protect the city of Socorro, the community, our constituents. And Big Homes is asking for a variance on this, and they don't have the common respect even to actually get on the phone line at this time to ask or answer any questions. They kind of figure, okay, City of Socorro is just going to go ahead and grant the motion because we are Big Homes.
I agree with that, 100%.
And that's the reason that I moved to deny the motion.
I second that motion.
So by denying this motion, are we going to make them throw down 6 inches of their home that they have built right now?
No, they can knock down the rock wall.
No, they can knock down the rock wall and go through the replatting and file a replat to move the property line to accommodate the building.
Okay, so we have a motion right now by Ben Arras to deny with a second by Robert Renteria. I will go ahead and take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
Deny.
Robert Dominguez,
Jorge. Deny.
Deny,
Yes.
Jesus Chiles,
Mr. Shides, you're muted.
I understand what Mr. Alvarez is saying about how are we gonna approve this when it's a big company and not to our residents. We want to be straight with everybody. So yeah, I'll deny.
David Oropesa,
Deny.
Robert Renteria,
Deny.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Deny.
Motion carried. Now we move on to item number 14. Consider and take action on adjournment.
I second that motion.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
No, it's nobody made a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I second it.
Second motion.
Renteria made the motion and Trujillo seconded.
Okay, now we'll take a vote. Rudy Cruz is absent. Ben Arras,
Motion to.
Jorge Dominguez,
Yes.
Jesus Chiles,
Yes.
David Oropesa,
Aye.
Robert Renteria,
Aye.
and Eugene Trujillo.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. The meeting is adjourned at 7:34.
Thank you, commissioners, for joining us. Thank you for your service. Thank you for helping us with this meeting. We've been waiting for almost half a year, more than a year, just to have a meeting. Thank you so much for participating, okay? Have a great night.
Good night, gentlemen.